Thank you very much. All right, last month, a Texas teenager dodged a prison sentence after killing 4 people in a drunk driving accident. He claimed, or his lawyer claimed, that the guy was suffering from affluenza. He was so rich, he couldn't tell right from wrong. Now, a California lawmaker is pushing a bill that would prevent anyone from using the affluenza's defense in that state, California. Los Angeles Assemblyman Mike Gatto joins us for more on this one. Mike, welcome to the program. Good to have you with us.
Great to be here.
Look, I see the intent here, and I think a lot of our viewers will support the intent of what you're trying to do. But I put it to you, you can't do it. You cannot tell a defense lawyer what defense he or she may mount to defend a client. You can't do that.
You absolutely can. There's a long history in this country of limiting certain defenses that the public views as just crazy, like this one. For example, in 1982, the voters here in California strictly limited the not guilty by reason of insanity defense. Surely you remember the 1980s when everybody was so upset at all the proliferation of defense attorneys using the not guilty by reason of insanity. And then in 1992, the Rehnquist court at the federal level severely limited the ability of prosecuting attorneys to present notion of racial prejudice in certain cases when the prejudice was not directly tied to the murder. So there's a long history of limiting what can and cannot be introduced at sentencing.
Okay, point taken. So you've got to define affluenza. You've got to define the defense which you intend to outlaw. How do you define it?
So the bill that I've introduced, AB 1508, defines affluenza as the concept that an affluent upbringing or an overly permissive upbringing somehow mitigates or explains the defendant's crime. And what this is about, this is about returning a sense of personal responsibility to our justice system. I know it seems antiquated to some, but really personal responsibility is what this is about. That is something that I fear is rapidly diminishing in our society, the notion that people are responsible for their conduct, and that was at play in this case in Texas, I think.
Are you a Republican or a Democrat?
I'm a Democrat.
Forgive me for saying this, I don't mean to be pejorative, but I'm not used to Democrats talking about personal responsibility.
I like to surprise people every now and then.
I'm not being, pejorative on this. I'm just not used to it. It's usually Republicans who push very hard for individual liberty, personal responsibility. Democrats tend to go for the state will provide, collectively will provide for you. You seem to be breaking the mold on this one.
Point well taken. I like to surprise people every now and then. Personal responsibility, personal liberty are things that are very important to me. And this is really a defense when this teenager in Texas, he killed 4 people, he paralyzed a 5th, going into court and basically saying, gee, I was spoiled, I don't know the difference between right and wrong, I should get no jail time. That's something that most people out there, most Americans think is ridiculous. And they want to see a return of the notion of personal responsibility, and I hope my bill provides that.
Well, sir, I think you've got the support of everybody in this room in New York, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of support for this one, too. Mike Gatto, thanks for joining us, sir. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.